Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Saturday, July 1st, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please get the first card in our 5-card spread? Starting our day with today, we like to see this card in its reversal. We have here our 8 of Swords in its reversal. So this could speak to some of that issue we are seeing with that World card in its reversal and the bottom of the deck message on that, which was our Ace of Swords in a reversal. So one of the things that we are identifying right now is you are pushing past any self-limiting beliefs, any circumstances or situations that you feel are acting as a blockage point right now. Specifically, due to the fact that we see that you are trying to move with a lot of purpose and intentionality right now towards those long-term goals, working with a lot of the healed karmic energy around you at this time with a lot of concentration on healthy partnerships. But we are identifying that there are some blockages that may be coming to the surface today. What we like to see about this card in its reversal is you are actively recognizing them and you are not letting them act as blockages. Rather, you are doing this work today to try to move through anything that you feel is acting like a blocker right now from those long-term paths and from those long-term goals as you proceed forward from this time. Second card that we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread is Temperance in its reversal. You're doing this work and you're doing it at speed. You are feeling right now some pressure as it relates to timing. You are feeling like now is the time. This could be a moment right now of putting a lot of care and consideration around any circumstances or situation that you haven't seen any good, positive, forward progress on at this point. Why? Because we see here that for many of you right now, you are going through a moment where you are really using this to manifest that long-term path and that long-term goal for yourself at this time. And also utilizing and recognizing the support and feeling the support of a lot of that healthy karmic energy around you to help further you towards those plans and goals that you're setting for yourself at this moment. However, you are recognizing right now, today is a day of potentially feeling some of that disordered thinking as it relates to anything that you feel you are feeling trapped in or stuck in, creating an emotional blockage, maybe even a practical one right now. And you have simply run out of time on these things. You are not letting the clock run all continuously on these. Your patience has a limit. We see here that now that patience has reached its conclusion point as you push past some of these circumstances and situations right now. For some of you, this could be feeling like you are against some sort of deadline that is also pushing you in this way. This could be feeling like there are practical deadlines that you are trying to hit at this moment, that you're trying to come into a space of better easement for. While for many others right now, this could be feeling like an internal clock has reached its point of limitation. You're simply allowing yourself to move forward at this time, doing this work though at the same time to unburden yourself from anything that you're recognizing or feeling is acting as a blocker towards you at this moment. The center card that we have coming through right now in our today's spread is center card for today. We have here our Emperor card. It's very intriguing because we have been seeing this card coming up in its upright a lot. And this is very intriguing potentially as it relates to some of the energy going on between masculine and feminine right now. Now, one of the things that you may be recalling right now as it relates to the feminine energy is while we've been seeing a lot of positive cards in the feminine energy right now, pulling cards like the Queen of Wands, this Star card, we have been seeing the fact that for feminine right now, there were some emotional blockages and emotional hurdles in the heart space that needed to be pushed through right now to help you move towards those deep manifestation goals that you're currently working on at this time. For feminine energy right now, this could be doing a lot of that work of clearing up some of these internal blockages at this moment. Potentially also feeling like there is a time of limitation that is reached in terms of your own patience around any circumstances or situations that you feel you're not seeing that positive forward progress on at this moment. Again, either working to manifest for yourself at this moment strong, self-mastered masculine energy that shows a degree of self-control in their own life that you are also working to manifest towards at this moment, or working in collaboration if you're in union right now with the same masculine energy that's helping you build this focal point for yourself as you try to come through any of these blockages or hurdles that you're currently experiencing. While for masculine energy right now, this is a moment that is taking a lot of self-mastery and self-control at this time. This could be putting yourself at a very high degree or putting yourself at a very high level right now as it relates to your own need for self-control. I will point out, one of the things that we have been identifying with the masculine energy over the last few days is masculine energy has been moving more in a space of easement, allowing a bit more of their playfulness, allowing a bit more of their carefreeness, allowing some more concentration on the worldly pleasures to kind of step in. This could be a moment for masculine that is feeling like you need to kind of get back to work, if you will. Allowing this moment of recognizing that you've been allowing yourself to kind of go into more of this carefree easement moment. And this is that moment that you're recognizing that may be acting as a bit of a hurdle for you at this time as you come into a point of mastery, working to overcome any of these tangible blockages in your practical or internal space right now. Fourth card that we are seeing right now in our 5-card spread is, we have coming through here for our fourth card, the Knight of Swords in its reversal, which we've also been getting a lot over the last few days. Now, for masculine energy, this is going to feel a bit different than feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment of personal work that you're doing because there is some circumstances and some situations right now that we see that you are struggling both with your own degree of self-control, almost forcing yourself to take some action around some circumstances and situations at this time, but feeling some anxiety as you do so, feeling a bit of a lack of confidence in some of these areas. This is where some of that World card in its reversal will be feeling towards you today, masculine, because what we're really identifying here is there are some situations and circumstances that you want to potentially take some action on. You are recognizing and you are feeling some of this blockage, and it is creating a point of frustration for you. You are recognizing that you feel that there is a need to act on these moments. You are working right now to determine how to move forward in a space that you do not feel like these energies or these circumstances or situations are blocking you. But whatever this work that you need to do around this work today in this moment, it's also one that creates some sense of anxiety, of uncertainty, that desire and drive right now to take action, masculine, but also feeling a lack of confidence in order to do so or how to go about doing so is one that we've been seeing in the masculine energy over the last few days. But we see that today is a day that masculine's really working on your own degree or feeling of self-empowerment and really mastery of the self, if you will, in order to overcome this internal blockage that you're currently experiencing. While for feminine energy right now, this is a moment that you yourself are working to move out of any places or spaces that you feel are holding you back at this moment. We did see that, again, for the feminine energy, our card of the day was that World card in its reversal. You are feeling some sense of disorder, but you're also recognizing with that bottom of the deck message that we received today that there is a need for surrender that is specifically coming through in terms of these circumstances and situations, moving away from self-limiting beliefs, moving away from situations that you may feel stuck in, but you're not necessarily seeing any action in. You are feeling a certain degree of frustration today, feminine, recognizing or feeling like time is up in terms of waiting on seeing this type of action around these. You are taking these steps for yourself at this moment. And for feminine energy that is currently in union, this is potentially working right now with a masculine energy that similarly is embodying this degree of self-control and self-mastery that is helping you overcome these hurdles within yourself at this moment. While for the rest of the feminine collective right now, this could be you working to manifest this type of energy around you right now. And one of the reasons that you could potentially be moving away from other energy at this time is feeling like anything that isn't moving forward in the degree or capacity that you would ideally desire at this point, you're recognizing as a lack of certainty, a lack of sustainability, a lack of confidence coming through on the part of some masculine energy right now that is standing in stark contrast to some of the energy that you're actually trying to manifest right now. The fifth card that we are seeing in our spread for today is, may I please have the fifth card? Two cards coming out for our fifth card. And they are our King of Pentacles in its reversal, in combination with our Ace of Cups in its reversal. A lot of some conflicting energy here for masculine, but let's identify and understand it. For masculine energy, we have seen the last few days have been a bit more carefree. We've seen that you've been allowing yourself to just kind of enjoy things, go with the flow. For some of the masculine energy, you've been putting a lot of care and concentration in uplifting the spirits of the feminine energy that's around you at this time. A lot of the other part of the masculine energy right now has just been doing a lot of things right now to distract yourself, maybe moving more into a space of personal easement to move away from anything that was causing some of these disruption points. But we're identifying today for the masculine energy, this is returning to oneself, if you will, coming back into a state of addressing some of these hurdles that you're currently feeling, because something coming through right now for the masculine energy is creating a point of instability, and we're seeing that some of that instability lies around your emotional center at this time. This could be requiring for the masculine energy a return back to a deeper sense of care for the self, a deeper sense of care for your own emotionality at this time, because what masculine energy is recognizing right now is there is some kind of emotional imbalance that you may be currently experiencing, pouring either too much of your energy into something and not getting back in return, or feeling in a way that you are not taking enough care or degree of care to yourself that you would aspire to at this moment, that is creating some of this sense of imbalance. This is creating a moment of making you feel a little robbed of confidence. It's created a moment that's gotten you a little bit rattled and startled, and we see that the masculine energy is working right now to overcome this hurdle and blockage by utilizing this mastery of the self, coming back in control of oneself, really getting yourself back on focus, if you will, as you proceed forward, feeling like there is something that is very based on time, recognizing you may be feeling like you're under a deadline, or recognizing that there's something that you've been putting off for too long that you need to take some course of action on, because you're simply recognizing that while you may be feeling some fear and anxiety in doing so right now, it's not necessarily a good thing for you to be able to hold off doing, because it's putting you in a place where you're feeling the degree of emotional instability right now around it that is making you feel practically unstable as well as emotionally unstable at this time. While for feminine energy right now, what we're really identifying is this is a moment that you are working to overcome any blockages that you are currently experiencing. Either, again, working in union right now with a manifestation of masculine, who you may be identifying right now, is also working on their own sense of self, on trying to get back to work right now with a lot of focus on addressing any areas where they are feeling less than stable. Feminine energy could be working right now in union to help the masculine energy come back into a point of support right now, because the feminine energy is also feeling a little bit of this emotional instability right now. For the energies that are in union, this is a return to care of the self right now, with this degree of getting back on track, if you will. While for the feminine energy that is not in union right now, as we've been seeing heavily over the last few days, there is a need and a concentration to move away from any circumstances or situations that you feel are just blocking you at this moment, that you're not seeing any positive forward progress on. Because what we're really identifying for the feminine energy right now is this is a moment that you are recognizing that while you're moving towards your long-term goals and your long-term course of action, with the concentration towards that positive, healed, karmic energy as you go forward from this point, you are freeing yourself from any situations that you feel are stuck or blocked and you're not getting that level of support in right now. You're feeling like the time is up, either working to manifest right now an energy of masculine that you feel would not put you in this circumstance or situation that would attain this level and degree of self-mastery, while identifying potentially any energy that is creating this blockage right now from a lack of confidence. Having a bit of empathy for this energy, recognizing that there may be a lack of confidence here that is the heart of why this energy isn't coming forward at this time, but also recognizing that that doesn't necessarily change the fact that the energy itself, regardless of its reasons, is creating a point of instability for you at this time that is allowing you to feel a bit of emotional exhaustion at this point, feeling like you're pouring a lot of energy into a masculine that isn't necessarily coming through in a stable, supportive way at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. clarification between our Eight of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Temperance in its reversal. For both masculine and feminine energy right now, there is a feeling of coming through anything that you feel is creating a block at this time. Taking a lot of swift action right now to overcome any of these immediate blockages, because you're feeling a lot of that weight of the disorder right now with that World in its reversal that we received as the card of the day. Not wanting to wait on these things, wanting to do them sooner or later, wanting to see immediate action or clearing of these blockages, either asking that from others right now or taking those steps to clear those hurdles on your own. The completion of cycles. The completion of cycles, which is what we like to see with these cards in combination right now. For both masculine and feminine energy, there is a feeling right now that you do not want to feel like you are bound up in anything that is not moving you in the direction that you would ideally desire at this point. For both feminine and masculine energy, you're recognizing that there may be some circumstances or situations that you have been feeling caught or bound into right now that don't allow you the ease or degree of capability or activity in these areas. And you've simply recognized that you don't want to wait in these spaces anymore. You are allowing these cycles to close, and you're putting a lot of active energy today in helping these cycles close with the concentration on anything that you feel is creating more chaos for yourself at this moment instead of harmony with that World card that we identified in its reversal. So a lot of activity potentially being taken today to allow some of these cycles to reach a point of closure. Continuing to get clarity on these cards right now between our Temperance card in its reversal and our Emperor. We've got impatient Emperor energy here for the masculine today, which can always be a little bit challenging, but we like the fact that we see this Emperor and it's upright. Because what masculine's really doing is there's something related to time right now and feeling like there is a time or a moment that masculine has reached. This makes a lot of sense based on the cards that we've been seeing in the masculine energy over the last few days, because we've been seeing masculine energy over the last few days has been more at a space of easement, concentrating more on their own center of delight or on what potentially feels good for you, but might not necessarily be what you need to do right now. And what we really see right now is masculine kind of waking themselves up, getting back into this zone of putting a lot of care and concentration in what you need to do, what hurdles you need to tackle, getting back to business as it were today, feeling this call and degree of either a very tangible deadline that you're working against right now, or an internal clock that you feel is ticking, feeling like you've waited too long, or that now is the time to act on something that you feel is creating a blockage for you at this moment. For feminine right now, this is feeling, again, a point of recognizing whatever you identify as a blockage right now in your own life and putting a lot of tangible work right now in trying to overcome it. Again, either working in union with a positive masculine energy that also shows this degree of self-mastery that might be helping to inspire you to continue on this path right now. While for the other part of the feminine energy, this is a moment right now where you are looking towards the masculine energy and potentially around situations that you are feeling blocked and stuck in. And you are trying to see it and identify if these masculines are effectively rising to the challenge to help you overcome these hurdles right now, or you're working to manifest this type of energy around you at this time. May I please get one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now we love to see this card, our Three of Pentacles. Why is feminine feeling like there is this moment right now that they are acting to move forward? Because feminine's feeling in a moment of dysregulation. Feminine's not willing to wait in that moment of dysregulation. Feminine is taking a lot of activity right now to overcome anything that they are identifying as a point of dysregulation, just being a blockage for them, with the goal and the orientation of building stability and security around themselves as they proceed forward from this point. Feminine is either taking a lot of action right now with masculine energy that is supportive to build this firm foundation right now, or feminine is potentially moving away from circumstances and situations that are not creating this, recognizing that they're potentially just acting as a blocker right now, allowing cycles to close so that they can work to manifest a more secure, stable foundation for themselves with manifesting masculine energy that shows that same degree of ability of self-mastery that they feel that they can truly build with as they proceed forward from this point. While for masculine energy, again, this is getting back to business, if you will, because we did notice for the masculine energy over the last few days, there's been a bit more easement card. We've been getting a lot of Page of Cups. We've been getting a lot of like these much more like energies that are moving more in a space of delight, of pleasure, of finding those moments of pleasure. Even while feminine energy was going through some difficulties, we saw masculine was trying to uplift their spirits by getting them into a more playful space. Today, not so much the case. Masculine energy is getting back to business, if you will. The masculine energy that is currently working right now in union with feminine is putting a lot of care and attention into potential practical matters right now to build this point of stability as you go forward from this time. Potentially feeling some anxiety or degree of needing to do this as you proceed forward because maybe you were letting things slip a little bit with some of that more eased energy that we saw over the last few days. While for the other part of the masculine energy right now, you're potentially allowing cycles to close that you're not recognizing this point of stability in at this moment, with a lot of care and concentration towards the fact that you are working to build a strong foundation around you at this time and coming into this point of self-mastery and feeling like the time is now to do so. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between masculine energy. This is going to feel very personal here because we've got here our Emperor card in combination with our Knight of Swords. So this is some conflicting energy that we're seeing right now around the masculine energy, because while we do see masculine that you are moving today into a vibration of putting a lot of care and attention into self-mastery, into more regimented thought, into what you're moving to conquer or trying to move forward with at this point, a lot of concentration towards this right now. We're also seeing some anxiety still rising to the surface here, some doubts and some fears as it relates to how to do it, as it relates to that plan of action. This was communicating a lot over the last few days for the masculine energy as a difficulty discussing things or having communication. This is now becoming more of an internal hurdle around your own sense of confidence as it relates to recognizing what you want to do right now, coming into your own power, but feeling some anxiety as it relates to how to do it or the way to do it at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, this is either working in collaboration, in union right now with the masculine energy that you identify as in this moment or in this role, but also experiencing and seeing their own feelings of trepidation or doubts or fears that you are potentially working to help navigate them through as you're currently in union with them. While for the other part of the feminine energy right now, this could be a lot of that same judgment energy that we've been identifying over the feminine energy over the last few days. With, again, looking at circumstances and situations that you're currently in right now, asking yourself if they are moving you into that long-term goal of manifestation that you're working on at this moment, or if they're just creating a blockage for you at this time. If anything is creating a blockage right now for the feminine energy, we see that there's going to be a lot of care and degree in closing out those cycles, because feminine energy is looking at the masculine energy around them right now, truly asking to identify, does this masculine energy look like there's someone that I can build the foundation with? Are they coming through at this degree of strength and support? Or is their own anxieties or their own fears just creating a blockage at this moment that needs to be moved away from? May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Pentacles. This is a bit of withholding. This is a bit of doing a lot of work right now. For masculine energy, there is something here that you are pulling back on or holding back on to a certain degree. A lot of this anxiety right now is going to feel like the masculine, you know what you want at this moment, masculine. You see it before you with all of these manifestation cards that we've been identifying for the masculine energy. This is not from a lack of clarity and understanding in terms of what masculine is truly trying to focus on and move towards right now. It's more about what to give forth right now and what to hold back around those circumstances and situations that is creating a bit of the conflict for the masculine energy at this moment. Because while your vision is clear, this is identifying the anxiety between moving forward because of a fear potentially of oversharing, because of a fear of losing some of that security that you're trying to build for yourself at this moment. The Emperor is not necessarily an energy that is very good at like sharing, if you will. It's not necessarily the most sharing of energies. It's one that tries to often move in a lot of spaces or places with their own sense of authority at play. And this is the masculine energy struggling right now. Potentially even, again, if you're in union or working in union with feminine, trying to collaborate without necessarily taking over the whole affair, if you will, or or trying to be in a space where, again, you're feeling some anxiety both about how you give forth right now versus what you hold back, that is creating some of this world in its reversal energy that may be feeling like a challenge point for the masculine. It's like that push and pull, like almost like a horse, like not sure what to do when the gate opens up here. For the feminine energy right now, what we're really identifying is you could either be working right now in a union with a masculine energy that you identify you are similarly feeling this with, that you are seeing here that there is this masculine energy that you see has a degree of self-mastery. You could be feeling like this energy is holding something back. You could be feeling like the masculine energy around you is holding something back right now. Either if you're in union, this could be because they need to put some focus back on themselves and their work with an addressing of clearing up any of this instability that they're feeling right now, or this need for self-care. For the other half of the massive feminine collective right now, this could be looking at masculine energy with a very critical eye, or a very intriguing eye, because you're looking at a masculine energy that potentially is coming through in this point of empowerment, feeling like there is this point of trepidation, and trying to analyze how much you want to give forth towards this energy, because you recognize that they're not coming forward in the way that you would desire. So this could be feeling like a bit more frustrating from the point of the feminine energy, because it is acting as a point of reactivity, reactivity, if you will, from what you're getting from the masculine energy right now. It's almost like, oh, you're not going to come forward? I'm not going to come forward. Nobody's going to come forward. We're all going to hold our cards really close to our chest today and just look at each other from across the table. That's how some of this energy could be feeling for the feminine energy right now. And feminine energy that's not in union right now could be assessing, as we've been seeing over the last few days, the masculine energy, trying to make a determination point of where, for some of the feminine energy, again, this is a single manifestation that you're recognizing the quality of someone that has this, but is holding something back. For some of the feminine energy right now, you could potentially be holding this back because you are trying to determine if this mass energy is in a space where they have this ability and degree to work with you, or if they're just coming through as an energy that isn't as confident, that isn't as able to come forward in this way. So for feminine energy, some of this dysregulation that you're feeling today is you just holding things back, if you will, pulling back a little bit as you come into this space of trying to work through any of this disorder that you are currently experiencing around some situations or circumstances that you're recognizing or feeling a bit of blockage in at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Oh, this energy for masculine right now. We've got here our Knight of Swords in its reversal, in combination with a King of Pentacles in its reversal, in combination with an Ace of Cups in its reversal. Masculine energy, this is where we're getting some of that World card in its reversal right now. And it feels a little counterintuitive because you're utilizing the gift of self-mastery right now to overcome some of these challenges that you're currently experiencing. And again, this could also be defining the fact that masculine energy kind of, again, we saw that point of easement over the last few days. Today is the day that you're like, whoa, I need to get back into this could even give energy of someone who's slipped in their own plans or their own, say, daily rituals or anything that creates a point of stability here. This could be masculine, coming back into a wake-up call about taking a higher degree of care in oneself to potentially. For the other part of the masculine collective right now, this is a point of really assessing, of looking around at some situations or circumstances that are taking a deep emotional toll at you at this time. You are feeling the fact that the emotional toll itself is making you feel unstable, and it's creating a point of anxiety because it's also creating a state where you are unsure how to proceed forward because you're in a point of emotional overwhelm right now that makes it difficult to really push forward because you're almost worried that your emotionality might interrupt your actual desired course of action at this time. That cause right now, being stuck between these two spots for masculine, is creating a feeling of instability because it's almost like an expression and a desire potentially of wanting to push forward right now, but also feeling a bit of emotional overwhelm as you do it that is causing a bit of this disruption. For feminine energy right now, this is a moment that either, again, you are working right now actively in union with a masculine energy that may have felt like they've slipped from their own degree of care of the self right now. And we saw this specifically, especially because the masculine energy was in more of a state of easement over the last few days. Some of that masculine energy in union was doing that just to help the feminine energy through something right now. And as we are wont to see, That has now slipped over into the masculine, because the masculine energy now is feeling a moment of instability, potentially putting a lot of focus on their own sense of self-care at this moment, feeling some anxiety on how to go forward. It's almost bringing you back into this moment of taking better care of oneself, potentially with the support of the feminine energy that is also recognizing that this may have resulted in you having to put in that extra effort with them over the last few days. While for the other half of the feminine energy right now, this is a moment that you are potentially feeling a lot of this emotional overwhelm. You are assessing and looking at any situations and circumstances that you are experiencing a blockage in right now. And again, you are assessing the masculine energy in this time, because some of these hurdles that you're working to achieve have you at a place of emotional overwhelm. And for some of you, what we're seeing, that this is a moment that you are now really putting a careful degree and capacity in looking at that masculine energy that is involved in these circumstances and situations, and seeing if you see the capability and degree to build something strong and foundational with the masculine energy, or if the masculine energy is potentially the cause of some of this emotional overwhelm that you're currently experiencing. That energy, either because of their own degree or anxiety in coming forward in a consistent fashion, is coming through as something that feels more unstable, that is creating this emotional overwhelm at you at this time, which you're working to free yourself from and allow a cycle to complete. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Knight of Cups is the solution to all of this. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. The Knight of Cups is the solution to all of this. What is feminine looking for right now? For the feminine energy that is not in union, that is feeling like this is a moment of feeling a blockage around some circumstances and situations, with the masculine energy that doesn't feel like it's creating any form of stability and is feeling like their own communication or ability to come forward as you're going through an emotional overwhelming point isn't necessarily consistent because of their own doubts, because of their own fear. Feminine energy is looking for that emotional expression from this energy. This is the feminine energy potentially working through right now, maybe even expressing these needs to the masculine energy to try to determine if at the very least this masculine energy that may be holding back to a certain degree is able to communicate some degree of emotional expression to give the feminine energy foundational belief that they do in fact care about the fact that they're creating a blockage for the feminine at this moment, which would prove to the feminine energy that this masculine energy is one that can achieve, or at least have the potential to move into an emperor position that would allow them to build a strong foundation right now. Feminine energy that is not recognizing this emotional offer, this emotional consideration point from a masculine energy right now that is not coming through consistently, that's creating a point of instability, or that isn't coming forward towards them at their hour of need or their moment of emotional need. This is the moment that feminine is potentially closing out those cycles, because feminine is recognizing that at the very least she needs a masculine that can emotionally support her even as she's going through a point of some feelings of emotional instability. This is the same emotional instability we've been seeing the feminine going through over the last few weeks. For the feminine energy in union right now, this has been potentially working with either a healed masculine energy that's been trying to uplift your spirits as you go through this right now. And now you have to return it effectively in kind towards that masculine energy as they try to focus more of their attention back on their self right now. While for the other half of the feminine energy right now, this is a moment of just effectively, like I said, shedding any circumstances or situations that you are now looking at as a clear and present blockage, because the energy isn't coming through as stabilizing. It isn't coming through as consistent. And you're identifying and you're utilizing whether this energy can emotionally communicate to you at this time to identify if you need to close that up and let that cycle come to a conclusion so that you can manifest this new foundation with the manifestation of strong, empowered emperor energy going forward. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment that, again, you may be feeling some of this on an internal level, that, again, you are moving into a space of paying a lot of more care and attention towards the self today, looking at anything that you feel has been creating a sense of instability, potentially even anxiety at this moment. For some of the masculine energy, this could be a reminder of care of the self. You will remember masculines, with all of that Page of Cups energy that was popping up over the last few days, I told you to take care of yourselves. I told you not to overindulge. I told you to be focused. This is the masculine energy, having a little bit of a reminder, wakey up call about that right now, putting that care and attention in today as you come back into your Emperor energy. But again, the energy, the masculine energy that's in union right now, potentially utilizing this moment to emotionally connect with the feminine energy, because they might not be able to practically do so because they're addressing some of these practical concerns or issues that need to be addressed at this time. For the masculine energy that's not in union right now, this is potentially looking at any hurdles or situations that you yourself are trying to move away from that are just creating too much instability or blockage right now, with a lot of care and attention right now on the fact that you are feeling a point of deep instability. You are feeling anxiety on how to do so. And you are also feeling a lot of emotional overwhelm at this time. However, again, you are also doing your best right now to push through, to come into this sense of Emperor energy, pushing you, like you literally mind over matter here, forcing yourself to a certain degree, because as we said, for some of the masculine energy right now, you are torn because there are things that you want to do right now. You're feeling the anxiety because of your own emotional overwhelm. You are pushing through with that Emperor energy to try to articulate a bit of what you are feeling, a small little drop, a bit in a way that isn't going to feel overwhelming. You are utilizing that emotional energy by putting a lot of care and consideration in what you are emotionally sharing at this time, for fear, with anxiety and fear that you may overshare or overgive or do the wrong thing right now. So you're like almost like piecemealing it, if you will, these little bits of emotionality to help you overcome some of this internal hurdle that you're currently experiencing as it relates to your own sense of stability and care at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Swords and our 3 of Pentacles. Really interesting cards to see in combination right now. Why? Because they're very different cards. So again, this is that identification point that we're really seeing right now around the cycles and the situations that are coming to an end versus the new foundations that you're building going forward from this point. For both masculine and feminine right now, what's really beautiful about this moment is there is a recognition of certain things that need to end right now. Patterns, modalities of thoughts, situations, circumstances. Something needs to come to an ending point. Something needs to be released. That's some of that sword energy, the Ace of Swords in its reversal that we saw bottom of the deck right now. Because all for the effort of the new foundation that you're working to build. This is that recognition point that in order to build a strong foundation, something needs to be released. Something needs to be let go of. This could be an internal release that we're seeing, potentially, especially for the feminine right now, as it relates to any circumstances or situations that you feel are internally blocking you at this moment. That difficulty between the head and the heart space that we were identifying in feminine over the last few days. This is that internal release that we were seeing. For masculine, this is you potentially having a bit of a moment, and again, coming into a point of self-mastery by recognizing that you need to release something right now to build this strong foundation. You are doing a lot of this work internally right now around any circumstances or situations that may be making you feel like there isn't enough care or support around your own self right now, with a care and degree of building the stability either for you yourself right now or in union. But for all energies, a lot of critical assessment and what needs to be let go to allow for these new foundations that you're building at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Oh my geez Louise, the 2 of Cups in its reversal. We just got this bad boy in its upright just a couple of days ago. Again, there is a recognition that is happening. If there is a point of working through issues around union right now, this is that recognition point of looking a lot of attention for the energy that's in union right now. Potential mutual agreeing right now on what needs to be released so that you can build better, stronger, new foundations for yourself at this moment, because there is something that is feeling like there is a disruption point that needs to be addressed at this time. While for energy that is not in union right now, this is that moment that you are potentially looking at the fact that you need to release anything or any circumstances or situations that you feel are just acting as blockers for you at this moment, with a lot of care and concentration into what is creating stability, what feels strong, what you want to create for yourself at this moment. And that is your barometer. That is that point of orientation that you're using going forward from this point to allow yourself to release anything that just is acting like a block, with a focus on building a foundation. This is a recognition for some of you that are experiencing this, that while you may be holding on to something, it doesn't necessarily create anything that feels stable or supportive for you. You're just holding on to it, and it just creates a blockage, and it's preventing you from being able to work into good partnerships right now. So a lot of this, if you're on your own right now, this is a feeling of personal release that you're currently experiencing, all to the effort of building this foundation in partnership going forward. While for those in union right now, this is a lot of mutual discussion on changes or things that need to be potentially shifted or ended, with a focus on building this new foundation in order to amend or correct for any issues around partnership at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 3 of Pentacles in combination with our 4 of Pentacles. So for both masculine and feminine right now, there is a feeling of working to build strong foundations at this moment, but also a feeling of holding back to a certain extent. Holding things very close to the chest today. For masculine energy, this is a lot of that personal work that you feel like you need to do for yourself at this time, because you're feeling some of this emotional overwhelm that could either be coming into a sense of feeling like you need to put back concentration into your own best practices, into your own self-mastery work at this time. While for the other part of the masculine energy, this is you potentially pulling away from any situations or circumstances that you're just feeling are blockage and they're not leading to these foundations. While for feminine, it is same right now. You are putting all of your care and concentration on building these new foundations right now. You are recognizing those spaces that are potentially just creating blockages for you. And if you're feeling that at this moment, this is you calling your own energy back from them. This is you basically saying, I don't want to be in something that just creates a blockage. If it's not creating a foundation, I'll just pull my energy back from it. For the other part of the feminine energy right now, this could be working in union right now with masculine energy to build this supportive architecture, but also having to take some of this on your own right now as the masculine puts more concentration into care of the self at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Cups in its reversal. So this is giving a lot of identification as to where we saw that World card in its reversal today, because what have we been seeing in the feminine energy over the last few days? We've been seeing the fact that there is a point right now where the feminine has been feeling disconnected from their emotional center. There was something about the circumstances and situations recently that's been requiring feminine to do that. It's created some blockages between the head and heart space of the feminine. Feminine energy is still working and navigating some of those emotional hurdles here. There is something for the feminine that feels like a point of emotional overwhelm right now. We're identifying that even with that Ace of Cups in its reversal. Feminine is still feeling this disruption, which is either going to feel like a bit of disassociative energy from their own emotional center right now, or it's going to feel like a feeling of emotional overwhelm, of being unable to control your emotionality around something right now. But feminine is doing so all with because a lot of this focus is on the tangible feelings of stability at this time. Feminine is holding back to a certain extent right now because feminine isn't necessarily in full trust of what they'll be able to emotionally express at this time. What we're actually seeing right here is this is a feminine energy that recognizes to a certain extent that something about their own emotionality requires a bit of reorientation and recalibration. So the feminine is holding back, in a way, their own emotional center at this time as they work to build these strong foundations, either working in union right now with a masculine energy that they feel might be feeling a little bit overtasked right now to manage or navigate some of these emotionality, or wanting to come into a better space of emotionality before expressing them. Or for the feminine energy right now that is not necessarily in union, this is you looking critically at circumstances and situations and simply asking yourself, is this creating something that feels stable for me? Is this a place that I can trust? Is this creating a stable and supportive environment? Because feminine energy isn't emotionally investing, nor are they giving any of their time and energy to anything that does not seem like it is stable and supportive or has the possibility of being so at this time. This is the barometer of feminine, letting some things go right now that aren't serving that or moving in that direction, versus seeing the emotional consideration from a masculine that might not be able to create that for them at this time, that gives them further confidence even while they are feeling emotional about it. For masculine energy right now, what we're really identifying is this is a moment that you are also working right now on building your own stability, working on foundation. Again, either working right now in union with the feminine energy that has been having some emotional difficulty over the last few days, either feeling like they've pulled back to a certain extent as they're trying to navigate this, or overly emotionally expressing. But for masculine, we see that there's a need for self-care here that is orienting today, that is actually recalling you to have to pull back a little bit right now, to pull your own resources away from this energy to build or work on this foundation right now. Again, either trying to lend support even as you do so at this moment with the feminine that you are recognizing still feels some of this emotional dysregulation that we've seen over the last few days, or for the masculine energy that's not in union right now, this could potentially be why you're potentially moving away from some circumstances or situations that you don't necessarily feel are aligned to you at this time, because you may be identifying that for you right now, what you really need is an emotionally balanced feminine energy. You yourself are holding back on your own self right now because you, again, are in a moment that you are feeling some anxiety in terms of how to move forward. You're feeling a bit of an emotional overwhelm as it relates, and also some emotional instability at this time. You are looking at a feminine energy right now, and you are even potentially asking yourself, again, you're holding back tangibly right now, even at the degree of trying to build stability for yourself at this time, either away from a feminine energy that you feel is not creating this supportive system for you at this moment, or for the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is feeling or wondering if this feminine energy is going to be emotionally receptive to you. This is some of that energy of the masculine, again, being uncertain what to do, feeling like you have to hold back right now because there's something potentially around the connection itself where you don't think the feminine energy would be receptive, or you're feeling anxiety about what emotional reaction or receptivity you would receive were you to give forth towards this feminine energy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Four of Pentacles in combination with our Knight of Cups energy. So for masculine energy, this is conflicting. This is very conflicting is what we are seeing here. This is very conflicting in terms of what we are seeing. So for masculine energy right now, again, if you are in union, this is, again, you having to pull back a bit of your own energy right now just to get some of your own stuff done. For the masculine energy in union right now, this is literally just coming through as a masculine energy that's like gotten off track as it relates to their own like self-care practices is what I'm really seeing. Using this moment of pulling your own energy back just to reorient, but using that emotional communication to try to express what you're doing in the process of it. For the other half of the masculine collective, this is a moment that feels very difficult that I keep trying to articulate, because what we're seeing here, there's a masculine energy that is feeling the push and pull between what they want to express right now versus your own anxiety in expressing it. But what you want to hold back versus what you want to give forth, right? And for the other part of the masculine collective not in union right now, this is feeling like much more disruptive, because this is you battling between what you want to hold back versus what you want to give forth right now, and is creating a lot of emotional potential turmoil for you as you do so, that back and forth push and pull that we're seeing. For the feminine energy right now, if you're in union, this is you effectively taking on potentially a lion's share of some work right now to help support a masculine energy that's trying to get back on track, getting that emotional support in the process. You're okay with this. You're just pulling back your own energy as you're going through these things, recognizing you're getting that emotional support from masculine. Everything is hunky-dory. But it does feel you are still going through emotional things that you may need to recognize, or you may be feeling like you need to put off for a certain moment because you recognize the masculine's going through some stuff right now. Might not be the time, is what we're seeing. For the other part of the feminine collective that is not in union, this is a moment that you are feeling like you're just withholding. You're just pulling back your own self right now, because as we've been seeing, you are looking for emotional connection from the masculine. You are trying to navigate the legitimacy of the emotional offer that is coming towards you at this time. You are trying to recognize if it is there. Because for the feminine energy, there is a focus entirely right now on what feels stable. Masculine energy has been coming towards feminine from a point of delight for the last few days. They've been coming through with cups. They've been coming through trying to come on a much more lighthearted space. Feminine doesn't really have any time and energy for that right now. Feminine, we're seeing right now, is very focused on building stability around themselves. And so they are looking right now, and they're holding back, if you will, right now towards the masculine energy to try to identify, even as a moment that they're feeling some frustration potentially around situations or circumstances that they're not seeing any positive, productive movement on, that they're potentially experiencing something around that energy, feeling like it's coming through unstable, feeling like it's not coming through consistently, and it's causing them to feel a degree or capacity of emotional overwhelm. Feminine energy is responding because they themselves are in a bit of emotional overwhelm with it, but they're not necessarily communicating how they're feeling right now about it. Instead, they're just pulling back their energy as they assess whether that masculine energy is coming forward from a point of legitimacy, from a point of vulnerability, whether they show this degree or capacity of offering this small token of emotionality, even as they pull back at this time. May I please have one card to clarify this very, very complicated situation that we're seeing? Clarification coming through right now. Oh, nobody wants to be alone right now. We've got here our Hermit in its reversal. So this is, okay, how to explain this? All right, so masculine energy, what we're really seeing here again is, okay, so the masculine energy that's in union right now, what we're really seeing is this moment where it's like, this is very funny for the masculine energy that's in union. Because the masculine energy in union right now could literally be telling the feminine energy at this time, I've gotten off my zone, if you will. I've gotten off my self-care practice or anything of that nature right now. I need to do some work to refocus. I need to come back into myself. It's not that I want to be alone right now. It's not that I want to do these things, but I need to pull my own energy back. And a masculine energy is trying to express that to the feminine, that this has nothing to do with the feminine or masculine energy in union. This has to do with the masculine that's literally like, I've gotten off track. I need to get myself back where I'm supposed to be, is what we're seeing for the union energy right now. For the masculine energy that's not in union right now, this is also a moment right now that, again, this is feeling like incredibly frustrating, because what we're seeing here is, again, you are experiencing a moment where you want to move forward on something right now. You are feeling the push and pull between what you want to share and what you should hold back. And more than anything right now, you know you need to give forth with something. You know that you need to give forth with something, because not only do you need to give forth with it, because you recognize that if not, may effectively give someone the wrong impression, give the energy around you the wrong impression. You're also recognizing that you want to give forward in something, that there's something here that's feeling that anxiety in not sharing this. You feel this degree or capacity of wanting to build something here. You don't want to isolate yourself at this moment. You're just absolutely baffled on what to do or how to do it. You're not sure what you should hold back forth right now versus what you should give emotionally. You're recognizing the fact that you need to come forward with some kind of emotional offer. You need to come forward in some way. You're recognizing it. You see it, but you're just absolutely stuck on what to do. This is feeling like a lot of frustrating energy for the masculine right now. For feminine energy right now, this is, again, a lot of consideration. This is just a feminine energy just looking at the masculine energy like, what are you doing? For feminine energy right now, this is similarly frustrating, but from a completely different level. This isn't an internal issue around what to give forth and what to hold back. This isn't that internal game that you're playing with yourself. This is literally observing it. This is watching an outside person to see what they're going to do and just feeling incredibly confused about what is occurring is what we're potentially seeing here, because the feminine energy is feeling stuck to a certain degree. They're feeling that there's something that they're ready to close out a cycle on. They're holding back as it relates to that because they need to see that there's something emotionally there from some masculine energy. It is a popcorn moment. That they just need to see some expression of care from the part of the masculine. So feminine has pulled their energy back and is just sitting there watching the masculine because they're not opening up, because they're feeling a bit emotionally disassociated or overwhelmed emotionally. They're feeling potentially some of this feminine energy that's not in union right now is feeling pretty exhausted around some circumstances or situations, or they're letting these cycles go. They're letting them go because whatever this energy is potentially even coming through as something that is feeling unstable and lacking the confidence to come forward. So feminine's just pulling their energy back and is literally just watching to see if the masculine energy is able to come forward in this emotional way. And the feminine energy, it sucks because the feminine energy doesn't want to pull back their energy here. The feminine energy is not doing this by choice. They're doing it based on need. Because the feminine energy is not about to emotionally connect with someone that can't build this foundation with them, that isn't going to come through as supportive. Feminine energy is either at a point of emotional overwhelm or pulling their own emotionality back. They want to connect with the masculine energy, but they need to see that emotional offer first. They need to see that emotional connection. And they're waiting to see that. Though it's not a pleasant place for the feminine, because feminine doesn't want to do this. Feminine doesn't want to do this. Feminine doesn't want to hold back. Feminine would like to. They just need to make sure, is what we're really seeing. They need to be sure that the masculine can actually emotionally connect in this way. Even for some of the feminine, for a bunch of masculine energy that feels like it hasn't been coming through as consistently or as supportively as you would ideally desire at this point. For the feminine energy that is in union right now, this is just feeling more frustrating because, again, you realize that you have to do some things potentially on your own right now because the masculine energy is working on some things right now. You're feeling frustrated because it does put you in a space where you feel isolated, but you're getting the emotional support. You're getting this. You're getting that emotional support even as you're doing some things and pulling back and holding back to a certain degree to give the masculine energy the space because they've emotionally communicated to you what they need and you're giving it to them, but you're just not happy about it. continuing the clarity on these cards right now. Oy vey, what's going on today? This is all that world in reverse. This is all that world that's reversal energy. Everybody's in this like spot between our Two of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Queen of Cups in its reversal. So feminine energy right now, even if you're in union right now, even if you're not, feminine energy is putting a lot of care and attention right now on what is working and what is not working in partnership. For feminine energy right now, there is something that has been going through. Feminine energy has been going through some emotional stuff right now. Feeling a bit disconnected in their own partnerships at this moment. But what's very interesting about the feminine energy right now is feminine energy is doing a lot of care and consideration and considering their own emotionalities. Their own emotionality in terms of addressing it. For some of the feminine energy right now, this could be feeling a lot of emotional overwhelm around some anxieties or fears around partnership and how to make sure that those partnerships are moving in the positive direction. For the other part of the feminine energy right now, this could be feeling like you have to pull back your own emotionality right now, that you're feeling a little emotionally disconnected right now, which could be having an overall impact on your partnerships. For the feminine energy that's not in union right now, this is feeling a bunch of emotional overwhelm around some situations or partnerships that you feel that need this kind of correction point. You're either holding your own emotionality back, that Four of Pentacles, you're holding your emotionality back because you're experiencing the fact that there's something around these connections that feels like it needs repair. And for some of you, this is you potentially pulling away from a non-working partnership entirely. Why would you be pulling away from the non-working partnership entirely? Because you feel like it's a blockage and it's not creating any point of stability, and the emotion and the person connected to it is literally not coming through as stable, and you're waiting to see if they can provide that emotional support to see if it can be fixed. For masculine energy right now, what we're really identifying is, again, there could be a moment if you're in union right now, you're working to overcome any blockages around the union itself, recognizing that the feminine energy is going through a bit of an emotional crisis that needs to be amended for. For the masculine energy in unions, could be working with this energy to help navigate some of this feeling that they're currently experiencing to overcome some of these hurdles. For the masculine energy that's not in union right now, this is a lot of care and consideration that you are putting on the energy that you are not in union with. For some of the masculine energy right now, this is potentially breaking away from a circumstance or situation with an emotionally unavailable or overly emotional feminine energy that you do not feel is coming through in a stable way right now. For the other part of the masculine collective, this could be feeling like a challenge and hurdle because you are trying to amend or work through a disrupted partnership, feeling the anxiety and fact that the feminine energy itself might not be receptive to what you're trying to bring forth towards them. That something about the situation has now created a space, and this is where some of that uncertainty is coming from in terms of how to give forward, because now you're looking at the connection itself and you're not even sure if the feminine energy would be receptive to receiving any kind of emotional offer that you come forward with at this point. It's creating some anxieties and fears. Bottom of the deck. I mean, not bottom of the deck. What am I saying? Next card. How many cards is this? 3 cards. Oh, God. Oh, God. Why they can't make it easy for me today? 3 cards coming out today in terms of how to solve this little pickle. All right. 3, thank you. 3 cards coming. But we got some clarification on that world and its reversal that we pulled today, okay? We got our 5 of Swords in its reversal. And look what it is. The King of Cups. So this is exactly what we've been talking about here, okay? Okay, let's talk about first the energies that are in union right now. This is navigatable. You know, this can be navigated, okay? This is why it can be navigated right now, okay? Because while there is, okay, for the energy that's in union right now, while there is a bit of an emotional imbalance right now, the feminine's currently experiencing, needs to be addressed as it relates to the partnership energy, okay? Masculine energy is recognizing the fact that there is a point that they're both equally feeling a bit disoriented right now, but they're navigating it in a way of creating peace. It's not creating conflict. Coming into this point of reorientation, they're tackling it without coming into conflict because the masculine energy is reaching a point of emotional balance, because the masculine energy that is in union right now, this point of mastery and self-empowerment, is a personal journey of the self that you're going through. It's not in relation to the feminine energy. That's why the masculine energy can come forward and act as emotional ballast right now for a feminine energy that is feeling these doubts and fears. You're doing it in a way that doesn't create conflict, even as you yourself are experiencing a bit of topsy-turviness as it relates to your own life. Why? Because you've done the work. You're the healed masculine in this place. You can maintain emotional composure even in a moment of crisis. That is helping the feminine energy through their own moment of personal crisis that they may be experiencing right now. For the masculine energy that is not in union right now, this is, again, 1 or 2 different spaces. You are either working right now to move away from a situation that you feel is just blocking you, that doesn't offer any ability of building a strong foundation, because the feminine energy is either not emotionally receptive to you or is emotionally dysregulated to the fact that you cannot find a path of peace with them, right? That this is that moment that you yourself are coming into emotional balance for yourself as you experience any of this disruption point, but just choosing that path of peace for yourself at this moment. For the other half of the masculine collective right now, this could be you trying to get back in union with an energy that you are now feeling some doubts and fears might not be emotionally receptive to you at this moment, because you yourself have been going through a moment of emotional overwhelm. But you are now at a space where you know what you want. You see what you want. You're coming into both your Emperor energy and your King of Cups. Your emotions right now are clear. What you desire is clear. You're not in conflict with yourself over what you want. The issue is working through any of the confusion that is currently now around any partnership at this time, with a feminine energy that you now feel doubts or fears that when you come forward in this way, they might not be receptive to it, or they might have a bad reaction to it. But you also might recognize from what I'm seeing in these cards, you might understand why. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Queen of Cups in its reversal in combination with the Hermit in its reversal. So for feminine energy right now, there is this moment that is feeling somewhat frustrating, because what we're really identifying right now is a moment that you are feeling a bit of this emotional dysregulation that we've been seeing over the last few days. Feminine's head and heart space have been like completely in different towns. They've been in completely different cities doing completely different things. Feminine's trying to align them. All right. For the feminine energy right now, there is still a bit of this emotional over emotionality that's coming through. And it's either reflecting as a feeling of over emotionality or a moment of emotional disassociation, just not connecting with your emotions, just shutting them off, turn it off. You're also feeling the frustration. This is creating, we keep seeing this. This is why it's so frustrating for feminine, because this emotional disruption point is making it hard for you to find peace in solitude. You're not finding the peace that you would normally feel in solitude. You're feeling the emotional dysregulation, which is driving you nuts. For feminine energy that is in union, and also for feminine energy that is not in union. For feminine energy that is in union, you've got a lot of support around you as you feel this. Like you've got masculine energy coming through as supportive, even if they have to put a little bit more care and concentration on themselves right now. Even for the feminine energy in union right now, even the masculine energy is like, I need to work on me for a minute. This could be creating a little bit more of this anxiety coming back to the surface today. For the feminine energy that's not in union, this is a moment of literally the blockage. This is the blockage for the feminine. This is the hurdle they're trying to achieve. This is what they're willing to shut down any cycle, to close out anything that has been continually creating this emotional dysregulation so that they can't even feel any peace, even when they're in points of solitude. That's what feminine is working to clear for themselves, even if they're not in union at this point, which is why they're looking at the masculine energy so carefully right now, because they're still feeling this emotional dysregulation from some of these things they're trying to close cycles on. For masculine energy, this is a moment that, again, if you are feeling this moment right now, masculine energy in union, you could be feeling like there is a moment right now in union that could be feeling a little frustrating, because you might be potentially feeling like you're not getting an opportunity to be in a point of solitude for yourself at this moment, because you've been dealing with a lot of this emotional dysregulation around the feminine for the last few days. We've seen this coming through with the masculine energy in union has been trying to keep spirits high. Then this is a moment that for some of the masculine energy could be feeling like a bit of a frustrating moment, because there is a moment that you may be requiring or needing some of this personal space that you're trying to create, because you're off your own self-care is what we're really seeing here. So this is that masculine energy trying to navigate and negotiate this, and also try to clarify to the feminine energy, look, this isn't a personal thing. I just need to get this stuff taken care of. For the masculine energy that is not in union right now, this is that same feeling that we just described. The feminine and the masculine energy, you are going through a moment right now where you might be in solitude and you cannot find solitude. You cannot find comfort in solitude right now, either because, again, you're working to close a chapter right now with the feminine energy that you feel you cannot build a foundation with, and is just creating a point of emotional dysregulation to the fact that you can't find any peace. Or this is masculine energy absolutely uncertain how to rebuild a connection with the feminine energy, feeling some anxiety about the offer that you want to come forward on, but also feeling a point that you need to do something right now, because you are also identifying, if you are not in union, that potentially some of this hurdle and blockage that you're finding is that you can't find peace in solitude, because you are thinking so much about the lack of emotional connection potentially between you and this other energy that you're uncertain how to move forward towards, because you don't know how they will react, but you're feeling that need to do so. That's going to feel very frustrating. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Oh, Knight of Pentacles. all the knights are in pentacle right now, okay? All the knights are in pentacles, are in the reversal. So again, for the masculine energy, what did I just say? For the masculine energy that is currently, again, moving away from a union right now, this is why you're pulling back your own offer potentially around a feminine energy that you recognize is too emotionally dysregulated to build a strong foundation with. And you are feeling that difficulty because you can't have any peace and solitude even as you're trying to navigate some of this. For the other half of the masculine energy right now, this is potentially you having no peace in solitude because your thoughts are directed towards this energy that you want to bring this offer towards right now. But your anxiety on how the offer will be received is creating the blockage in order for you to do so. And it's putting you in this point of constant frustration because you're thinking about how to address the situation. You're thinking about the person themselves, but your own anxieties and doubts and fears are holding you back from being able to come forward with this offer. The anxiety, and that's where we're seeing the Emperor coming through at that point of self-mastery. For the masculine energy that is in union right now, this is literally what I've been saying. This is literally you saying, at the moment, I can't offer this right now. But this is not about you. This is because I need to do some work for myself at this moment. So masculine energy is trying to articulate this to a feminine energy that they recognize is in a point of dysregulation, but trying to articulate that this is not a desire to pull away from this energy. This is more of a need-based situation more than anything. For feminine energy right now that is in union, this is you also navigating this. This is the feminine energy taking on a lot of this emotional overwhelm for themselves at this moment, not feeling particularly pleased that they have to do so, but also recognizing that there is a tangible reason the masculine energy cannot come forward and assist them in this way at this time. And so the feminine energy is doing a lot of this work in solitude, but recognizing why. The masculine energy needs to take some of this time for themselves at this moment. For the feminine energy, and why do they know that? Because the healthy masculine energy is emotionally communicating to them with their mouth what they need, and the feminine energy is giving it to them. For the feminine energy that is not in union right now, this is a moment that, again, you are feeling a point of emotional dysregulation. For the feminine energy, this emotional dysregulation is frustrating because it makes it hard for you to find peace even in solitude. For half of the feminine collective, this is where you're identifying the blockages, because the reason these guys are reflecting each other. Can I make these more of a reflection? For half of the feminine collective right now, this is either one, you are moving away from an offer or situation or circumstance because it's becoming too overwhelming. It's not creating emotional support, and you're not getting the stability of the offer itself. And that is creating too much of a frustration point because it's making you too emotionally overwhelmed to maintain and to stay in it, even when you're at points of solitude. That's why you're allowing these cycles to be closed. For the other half of the feminine collective, this is a moment that you are feeling that this cycle is something that you want to close out because you are putting a lot of care and thought and attention towards a masculine energy that never was able to give you this stability. They never came forward with this stability. They never were able to drive forward with this stability. But a lot of your thoughts are still on this energy because when you are in solitude, you can't find solitude because you find yourself returning to thinking about this energy. For the feminine energy in union, this is you just kind of saying, I understand where you are. You need this time. Final cards for today between King of Cups, Five of Wands in its reversal, the World card, which was our card of the day that we received back out on the deck, and the Knight of Pentacles. So again, to clarify the points, the facets of this, masculine energy that's in union right now, this is a moment of you doing a lot of work on the support of the self. You're feeling a lot of easement in doing so. You are at a space right now, you are trying to come over any of these feelings of disorder. This is exactly where we were when we started this reading today. But you're feeling peace in this because this is a practical situation or circumstance. You can't give forward to the feminine so much at this moment because you have to put this concentration back in yourself. But you're not getting any static or difficulty because of it, because you've emotionally communicated what you need and you are finding it in that healthy partnership. For the masculine energy that is not in union right now, this is a moment that is feeling potentially difficult. Because again, for masculine energy right now, there is a feeling, if you are not in union, where you are at a point of emotional balance. You know exactly what you want emotionally right now. You're moving into a space of self-mastery. You're needing to do something about it. You're still feeling anxiety in terms of what to give forward around some circumstances or situations. It's creating a feeling of disorder for you at this time. The chaos is in effectively trying to find a peaceable way to come forward on some things right now. Again, for half of the collective masculine right now, this is you pulling back your energy and finding a path of peace from yourself, from something that has become too chaotic and difficult for you at this time. For the other half of the collective, this is potentially trying to move towards an energy that you feel may be blocked or disrupted or not necessarily as open and available to you as you would ideally desire, but wanting to find that peaceful way to go forward around that energy, but feeling a lot of chaos about what you could actually offer at this time. While for feminine energy, if you are in union right now, you are recognizing that there is something about the practical situations of the masculine right now that is requiring them to put some effort and energy into themselves right now, but you recognize it is all for the care of themselves, that they're being emotionally supportive even as they articulate this. There's no argument here. It's creating some feelings of chaos for you, but you're navigating them, and you're working on any feelings emotionally that you're experiencing right now. You're navigating for yourself because you're recognizing that this is just a tangible, circumstantial situation with a very communicative, open, masculine energy. For the feminine energy that's not in union right now, this is a moment that is creating a feeling of disruption, of chaos. Because again, we see here that you are working right now on peace for yourself. You're trying to find peace for yourself in this moment. You're trying to find this peace for yourself. Again, looking at the masculine energy around you at this time and allowing and accepting whether that energy shows a degree and capacity of balancing their emotionality, being a balanced masculine energy, or if they're just an energy that is continuing not to come forward in a stable, supportive way. For a lot of the feminine energy not in union right now, this is working to manifest this balanced feminine masculine energy, looking again a lot at the masculine energy, not necessarily taking much action today, but just using it to identify where this energy is and how you can place it, with potentially, again, a lot of thoughts potentially around some energy that did not come forward in this supportive way, to help articulate and decide for yourself at this moment what is coming through in balance and what is not. May I please have the final card for today's spread? We like this. We've got our sun card. So this is that moment of moving into a state of optimism for all energies across the board. We like this. Everyone is keeping an optimistic outlook at this moment. For the energies that are in union, again, there's a recognition right now of what is being needed. Masculine energy in union is putting a lot of focus and care back into the self right now. Feminine energy is supporting them. Even as they're going through their own point of dysregulation, feminine is concentrating on uplifting their own spirits. Masculine is working on uplifting their own spirits. For the masculine and feminine energy that are not in union right now, feminine energy is closing out chapters that aren't serving them, even if it has to do with old energy, because they're recognizing the difference between emotionally balanced energies and what that looks like through times of crisis, and recognizing that there aren't times of crisis that these create. It's creating a point of easement in some of that release process as they better understand what they truly need going forward from masculine energy, and looking right now, utilizing that to a certain degree in terms of judging the energy around them to see if they're providing same. While for masculine energy right now, there is a moment that we're seeing that, and this is what's interesting about the masculine energy that's not in union. You may not necessarily be sure how you want to proceed right now, but it is the Emperor energy coming through with the King of Cups that is giving you this point of optimism. Because for masculine energy, though, you may be feeling extremely conflicted about how to take steps forward at this time, or even how to remove yourself from something at this time. The two things we're seeing with the masculine energy is that you found this point where you know what it is that you want. And you know what it is that you want because you are feeling at a point of emotional balance. And so in a way, the how that you're trying to do right now, though you're feeling that disparity, it's the recognition right now of building that sense of self-mastery and coming into emotional balance that is helping to create this feeling of optimism as you proceed forward from this point. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now is Chariot in its reversal. This is all about making sure everybody is on the same page. For masculine and feminine, for feminine energy and masculine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, for energy that is in union and that is not in union. There is an orientation and correction point, because we're seeing here, even for the energies that aren't in union at this point, there is a bit of a separation happening right now between the feminine and masculine. Feminine's holding back some of their emotionality right now to allow masculine some room to get some things done. Masculine is needing to return to some supportive system that they may have kind of moved away from it right now in union. Feminine energy right now and masculine energy not in union is putting a lot of care and degree in terms of what it is that they truly desire going forward. Masculine knows what they want going forward. Masculine energy right now is shedding and moving away from things that are not necessarily aligned to them, with a lot of purpose and consideration in terms of what they want to move towards right now. For some of the masculine energy that's not in union, a lot of this anxiety is about whether the other energy is still willing to move with you. While for the feminine energy right now that is not in union, this is putting a lot of care and attention into the energy that approaches you right now to make sure that they are aligned towards where you are trying to go, what you are trying to move into as it relates to your own manifestations and that foundation that you're building for yourself at this moment. So all energies are putting a lot of care and consideration and making sure that the energy around them also shares their desires, also shares their goals, and potentially trying to work through any hurdles that are coming through in terms of any misunderstandings or misalignments to this degree or capacity. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and sharing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book on my website, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and then you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you hit both buttons if you want to have that reading. Also, most important, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very special message that only I can deliver. The only place you can book a reading with me is on my website. So please do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for sharing this reading with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow.